You can't defeat me.
No, I know. But he can.
Hey, Lock and Load here. If you've been keeping up with Codmobile's competitive scene, you would probably know about the DRH's meteoric rise to popularity and its subsequent ban in pro play. But how good is the DRH really? And what about the other three shotters? How do they match up against the current meta? In this video, I'll be ranking all the three shotters in a tier list based on their stats and in-game performance. Disclaimer for this video, the criterion for a 3-shot weapon is an automatic primary that does between 33.3 and 50 damage to at least 3 of its greatest non-head body parts. Starting off in F tier, we have the rapid fire Peacekeeper and BR compact Lapa. Bet you weren't expecting this. These two only made it because they meet the criteria, and you should absolutely not be using them. Now let's talk about the guns that actually matter. Jumping straight to B tier, we have the GKS, who has fallen off tremendously with the other 3-shotters' rises to prominence. While it can kill really quickly at only 200 ms up to 24 meters, it needs to sacrifice a ton of mobility to improve its effective range. The GKS also does sport a pretty decent 4-shot range, though a 300 ms time to kill at medium ranges is not all that great. Also in B tier is the Man of War. Ever since its recent buff, the Man of War has been getting quite a lot of attention, and while the increased damage and mag size certainly did improve the gun's performance, it still suffers from the same problems that prevented it from being competitive before. The gun fires at intervals of 120 milliseconds and has a 3-shot time to kill of 240 milliseconds, which, while good, is no higher than many faster and more forgiving flex options like the PDW and the Grotza. The Man of War also has an atrocious 4-shot time to kill and even a 5-shot potential at longer ranges, making range stacking a necessity. The gun, however, does boast incredible accuracy and flinch, as well as a 2-shot potential with headshots, making it a viable passive assault rifle. Kicking off our A tier lineup is an SMG that has sneakily climbed out of F tier through a series of buffs in the recent seasons, the Striker 45. In its current state, actually far outclasses the GKS as a 3-shotting SMG. Not only does it 3-shot much more consistently and is capable of 2-shotting with headshots, its radius movement speed is also quite a bit faster. Compared to the GKS, it does perform significantly worse at mid to long range, but as an SMG, those aren't the fights you should be taking anyways. The Striker 45 sits in a comfortable A tier as a competitive and heavily underrated SMG. Next up is the SM10, which is actually in a pretty weird spot right now. It cannot 2-shot with headshots, unlike most 3-tappers, and its mobility and max 3-shot range aren't great either. The SM does, however, have access to the Branson barrel, which more than makes up for these weaknesses with its ridiculous potential full body time to kill of 133 milliseconds. Branson increases the second and third shot's fire rate to about 900 RPM, so as long as you hit those, you're golden. Branson also delays the 4th shot to 150 milliseconds though, so if you have a skill issue and can't at least hit 2 of the first 3 shots, it's better to just use something else. The PP19 Bizon sits at the top of the A tier, and I doubt I even need to explain the reasoning behind this one. The Bizon's ammo count, recoil, and mobility are all absolutely incredible, and though its mid to long range time to kill is suboptimal, it makes up for it with a consistent sub 200 ms 3-shot time to kill at close range. All in all, the Bizon is an incredible flex option that performs especially well in ranked. Now, let's get to the top 5 3-tappers, all of which are easily S tier, starting off with the UL 736. What is there to say about this gun that hasn't already been talked about to death? An LMG with AR mobility that can 3-shot across the map is a recipe for disaster in any CODM meta. Not only is its mag size twice as large as its competitors, but it also has access to superior wallbang, and full body disable. All of this without mentioning the fact that its fire rate and range are absolutely insane. Somehow being able to do both as well as some 4-shot weapons, the one weakness it has is that hitting a single shot to the stomach or legs will increase the shots to kill. But even then, its 4-shot TTK is still on par with manias like the LK24. The UL places in 5th solely due to its relatively slower playstyle, which doesn't fit well in the current meta. Next up, we have a 3-way tie between the EM2, DRH and the AK-47, all of which are insane flex options that can absolutely stomp popular options like the Grau. So let's start off with the EM2. Having access to Black Ops attachments is a total blessing for this gun, allowing it to simultaneously range stack stability and mobility. It can even 3-shot to any body part up to 20 meters, with 17 meters of fairly consistent 3-shot kills on top of that. Just don't use it beyond 37 meters. Its long-range TTK is one of the worst in the game. Besides that, however, the EM2 simply excels at everything and is already being picked up in pro play. Now, let's talk about the gun everyone and their grandma has been glazing, the DRH with its OTM max. Seriously, this gun went from being considered suboptimal to getting banned in a single season. I mean, the AK got the exact same buff, but didn't receive nearly as much attention. I guess a free legendary really was what the community needed after all. The actual reason the DRH got so popular though is that with the flex build, it can basically compete with anything at any range. It has enough ADS speed and TTK to beat the Fennec at short range, and enough stability to beat the LK24 from afar. Not only does it shoot slightly faster than the other 3 type ARs, it also has incredibly rewarding multipliers that will reduce shots to kill at all ranges. On top of all that, the DRH can even be built like a mania with a 40-meter 3-shot range and insane precision. The only real downside that the gun suffers from is a slightly lower mag size. The DRH is simply an amazing option for any role. But the AK-47 can basically do everything the DRH does, while having up to twice as much ammo.
What?
Although its multipass aren't quite as rewarding, it more than makes up for them with a sizable advantage in mobility, recoil, and its phenomenal taper. Compared to the DRH, the AK actually does slightly better with a more passive build, utilizing its Ranger barrel's distinctive 40% range boost for a high precision playstyle that specializes in dominating mid-range fights. It really is a shame that the AK is being overshadowed by the DRH so much, as it is in reality just as good. And lastly, but certainly not leastly, the King reclaims its rightful throne, and the HVK with its large caliber ammo once again finds itself at the top of a tier list. If you think the DRH is OP, the HVK is basically a direct upgrade of it. I mean, yeah, the DRH might win out on some factors like range, but when it comes to tallying up everything, the HVK still scores more points. It is not only the best 3-shotter, it is also the best AR. No, the best gun. The big boss. The greatest of all time. Mr. Macho. The head honcho.
Alright, I get it!
And that concludes all the guns I wanted to talk about for this video. How big of a part do you think the 3-shot guns play in the current meta? Tell us in the comments down below. This is a pretty new video format, so don't forget to leave a like if you found this informative, and make sure to subscribe for more content like this. This has been Lock and Load, going dark.